Six genes, just six genes, control the presence of a pigment that we all have, regardless of our race. That pigment is a chemical called melanin. We all have different amounts of melanin produced in various beautiful shades of brown. And so that goes from light brown to dark brown. The basic science behind our skin has nothing to do with black, because no one literally is black, no one literally is white, no one is yellow, no one is red. But a lot of what we are composed of, or all of what we are composed of, is just a mixture of complexions and variations depending on our genetic composition. So black and white, unfortunately, are social constructs that were created here in the United States, and they have done more than enough of creating division about God's beautiful, creative, artistic handiwork expressed through the phenotype of human beings. As a public health administrator and a relief coordinator for a homeless shelter, I see firsthand, oftentimes, how different challenges associated with race and economic status interplay with social inequalities and disparities. And so when I was first asked this question, what makes my heart sing, in this leadership communications class, I innately and spontaneously thought of something sentimental and spiritual, which holds true to this moment. But I understood the context in which I was being asked the question, so I answered accordingly. And I thought about it, I was reflective, and I put thought into our country, complexions, and people. And I said, that's what makes my heart sing, equality. I haven't been quite able to sing it, but equality is what makes my heart sing. Because from slavery to segregation, people of color, namely African Americans, and later other migrated communities of color, Afro-Caribbeans, Cape Verdeans, Latinos, have been systematically denied equal rights and opportunities. The effects of long-standing discrimination linger and perpetuate disparities in poverty, housing, criminal justice, healthcare, employment, among other areas in life. Thomas Shapiro, a professor of sociology and public policy at Brandeis University, reminds us that African Americans were property that created a tremendous amount of wealth, not for themselves, but for others. And later, there was the glory of becoming a second-class citizen. We won't enslave you, but you can't vote. You can't serve on this board. You can enter the diner, but you can't sit in these seats. You can't purchase a home in this neighborhood. You're not good enough. And so thus we have the redlining in real estate. And if you look at the segregated employment practices today, I know this is a very sensitive topic for a lot of people, but if you look at the segregated employment practices today, where there is an underrepresentation of people of color in influential positions, there are similar tendencies where brown and black individuals are concentrated more in entry-level positions, and that contributes to the white wealth gap. It's not because we're not smart enough. It's not because we don't make good decisions. There's exceptions to every rule, regardless of the race. But I would argue that oftentimes it's a constant struggle to make up for lost time of generations of being behind, and it impairs one's mobility. I gained a different perspective about statistics from a trainer, epidemiologist, and public speaker who effectively challenges individuals and systems on racial inequity and fairness. His name is Chris Bijou. And he says, when you look at statistics, don't just think numbers. I know there lies the tendency, because statistics are numbers, but there lies the tendency to think, oh, wow, these poor people, look at what the statistics show. But he actually encourages us to think about people, and think about that the people you're reading or hearing about represent real people who are experiencing this. And so if I showed you statistics of research from a credible organization, you would immediately see a wealth gap. And that wouldn't surprise you if you understood that people of color are trying to play catch up. I'm not saying all, but as a whole, yes. And mind you, there was no transfer of material wealth from slaves to their descendants. As a bicultural woman of color and diversity trainer facilitator, I often ask individuals why, Why? Because of the color of someone's skin. Are they seen differently, treated differently, thought of differently, handled differently? And sometimes we're doing that with an unconscious bias. We don't mean to do that, but it's kind of innate in society today. What makes my heart sing again is equality, the scales that still have not been quite balanced. So I utilize the platform that I've been given every month when I facilitate diversity trainings and racial inequity and healthcare disparity groups to sing this song with vigor and with passion. I sing it within the perimeter that I've been given because I've seen other marginalized groups sing and sing loud, and they have prevailed and have been respected so that laws are put in place, putting them in a very protective category. And if you step over the threshold of offense with those groups who have sung and have gotten results, who've been heard, is I guess I should say, there will be consequences. But I've yet in the tenor, I've yet in the bass, I've yet in the baritone, high soprano, low soprano, alto, seen racism, discrimination against people of color, namely African Americans who are trying to raise their heads above the disparities of slavery and powerful institutional forces that have held them down for decades. Be addressed. Who will stretch beyond the comfort zone on the musical scale to sing a note higher or lower? Join the choir of equality as an active bystander or, unfortunately, as a victim to sing with intonation, rhythm, dictation, balance. Who? So when we talk about racial inequality, discrimination, things that are relevant to race, we're not attacking the white race. In fact, I will be working against the very fiber of my genetic composition because there are both races in my family, and I am composed of both races. I hate the terms white and black because they create a lot of divisions. Superior, inferior, inferior, superior, who said what, who didn't mean to say what. We're not going to erase history. History indeed has an impact on the present and the future. Neither are we trying to create white fragility, but we need an awareness, and we can't be in denial. So if we sing the song of equality with awareness and not be in denial, with the same energy, reversed, if not more energy, that inequality exists, then we can start seeing some changes. Please don't criticize people of color. Sing. Please don't discriminate against people of color. Sing. Please don't judge people of color who were not once seen as 100% people, but sing. Please don't impair, don't push down, don't make it worse, because we have unconscious biases sometimes, and we can be part of the problem and not the solution and not be aware of it. But sing, be a part of the solution. Find out how to sing, be vulnerable, ask questions. Your tone, your pitch, your voice can help bring balance regardless of what color you identify as. You can help bring balance to what is still yet imbalanced. We need more people to sing in the choir of equality. If you become an active bystander, you will also be happy and your heart will sing. So we need more people over here to sing with us. Will you sing with me?